Happening right now, the Shoreline Trolley Museum in East Haven has received a new exhibit today, one with very deep historical significance. Firefighters, police officers, civil service members, and civilians are gathered right now to salute a piece of 9/11 history. Just moments ago, a parade wrapped up, ending at that Shoreline Trolley Museum. News 8's Allie Reed is there live this midday with the very latest. Allie?
Hi, Keith. I am standing inside of Path Train 745, and I have to say I just stepped into here a few moments ago, and it is surreal. This train is exactly the same, intact, as it was on the day of the 9/11 attacks. They haven't done a single thing to it. As you can see here, there's even pieces of the train still on board, dust and dirt everywhere. So it really remains as it was that day on September 11, 2001. Now, Alan Zalazzo is joining me. He is a Path engineer. We talked about this, that before the plane, after the first plane hit the first tower, all Path trains were grounded about 17 minutes after the fact. A lot of them told to get out. Some were left behind. Why is that?
They left them behind because they didn't know that service was not going to resume. If service resumed, they like to have a train ready so we could open it up and get passengers in it faster. So this train was waiting for passengers that never came.
You worked that day. That afternoon. What is it like for you to be here nearly 14 years later standing in this car?
Brings back a lot of memories. When I made the trip with my conductor, Rob Henry, we did the third trip from Newark. We did a jerry-rigged service up to 33rd just to get people back out of the city. We took nobody in, just to bring people home. And it just brings back a lot of good memories and bad memories, but more good.
Sure.
More good.
Well, it's been a beautiful ceremony. Let's take a look at some of the video from earlier this morning when this train was brought in. There were bagpipes leading it. There were police and fire units from both Connecticut and New York. It was a very emotional ceremony. I'd say about 400, 500 people lined the streets to see this Path train come to its new home, which is the Trolley Museum in East Haven. There were several dignitaries here speaking. One of those was Senator Richard Blumenthal, and he made a comment which I thought was interesting and beautiful. He said he wanted people to come up to the train, to touch it, to walk in it. The Trolley Museum wants people to do the same thing because that's really how you get a sense of history and appreciation for what took place, who sacrificed so much that day, and just really take a moment to reflect on all this train symbolizes.
When people see and touch this historic treasure, it's more than a relic, more than a piece of metal. It's a treasure and a tribute to the spirit of those men and women and of the victims of that tragedy.
Now, this car was 75 feet underground when it was excavated. Then it was pulled out. It took about 5 months to get it out. In fact, they had to build new tracks in order to get the train out of the station. So a huge effort, many people contributing to that. Since it was pulled out of the station, it's been sitting in an airport hangar at JFK Airport. It originally was going to be part of the 9/11 Museum in New York City, but it was deemed too big, so that's why it is here in East Haven. It's going to sit outside of the museum for a little bit while a permanent memorial is built around this Path train. Once that's complete, which is expected sometime early next year, there's going to be a proper dedication ceremony for that. Reporting live in East Haven, I'm Allie Reed, News 8.